Good morning, America. Thank you for tuning in this morning to Channel 20 News. Today we will be covering a local story in Thousand Cow, California. Matt Edward Up, a resident of the city who has lived there his whole life, has recently reported that a giant cow has repeatedly entered his property over the past few weeks. According to his description, the supposed super cow stood at a whopping 10 feet in height and was around the same size as a pickup truck. Mr. Up believes that this monster of an animal is linked to the growth hormones that the local company injects into their cows. As Mr. Up said, coincidence? I think not. And we completely agree. Isn't that right, Chris Osgood?
Absolutely, J. Lou the human canoe. Look at this clip from Mr. Up when we first encountered the beast.
Holy cow, that sounded like a giant cow.
From the pictures we have received, the giant cow looks to be an utterly enormous animal. Hey, Mr. Up, could you tell me a little bit more about this fascinating cow you saw?
Is the cow here? Oh, okay. You know, that was definitely a cow from space. It definitely dropped down from a UFO. There's no way that some cow, the FDA or the government will tell me was treated with some RBGH. What even is that? It's just a random string of letters. Just like the amino acids that form it up are a random string of letters composed of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and sometimes even sulfur. You know what? First you got the moon landings with all this in here, telling me all these fake news, and now you got cows treated with this. This is definitely just a conspiracy theory to tell me to eat vegan, even though the world will end in 2012.
Our apologies for that. Mr. Up must have been in a bad mood.
And now a word from our biochem departments at Caltech and Cal Berkeley University. Major dairy companies also use factory-produced hormones to enhance animal growth. Currently, the growth hormone used the most is RBGH, or recombinant bovine growth hormone. This substance is a synthetic version of hormone cows produce naturally. Providing cows with RBGH allows them to produce up to 15% more milk. The FDA currently claims that the growth hormones used in cattle are perfectly safe. However, several health advocacy groups have claimed that a link exists between growth hormones used on animals and an increased risk of cancer and diabetes in humans.
RBGH is an amino acid chain comprised of 191 amino acids bonded together by peptide bonds, covalent chemical bonds that link a carboxyl group of one amino acid with the amino group of another amino acid. Some studies have shown that the use of RBGH increases the levels of insulin-like growth factors, or IGF. And many studies have found that higher concentrations of IGF in one's blood have been associated with an increased risk of breast, prostate, and other cancers.
And now for a short break.
Boo!
Use growth hormones to get more out of your workout. Beef up those gains with K.
Welcome back.
And now we have an exclusive interview with the CEO of Dairy Princesses Incorporated and FDA.
As the FDA and the CEO of Dairy Princesses Incorporated, one of the major dairy production companies in this country, what are both of your opinions on the use of growth hormones in food production?
As the CEO of Dairy Princesses Incorporated, I, Edamame Mike, personally assure you that there are no adverse effects of growth hormones.
As the FDA, I agree.
Each and every one of the supposed studies produced by unestablished, untrustworthy, unsuccessful businesses claiming that growth hormones are dangerous have absolutely no backing. I have personally gone through every step in the production process. Our goods are 100% risk-free.
As the FDA, I agree.
Growth hormones increase meat production, increase milk production, increase the rate of food production, and lower food costs. Growth hormones are good for me and good for you.
What a great interview.
And now to Juiced Up John, a representative from Totally Radical Natural Food.
And he is Juiced Up John, sleeping peacefully in his natural habitat. Hey, sir, could I ask you a few questions real quick?
Yeah, that's cool.
Can you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, so basically I'm a representative for Totally Radical Natural Foods, and we provide information about the dangers of growth hormones, and I mean, we also sell our all-natural products.
Okay, and why exactly can growth hormones be dangerous?
Well, see the thing is, the most commonly used growth hormone, RBGH, actually has no discernible effect on humans, and it is maybe a little bit of a concern to your health. The actual fear comes from the protein insulin-like growth factor, IGF, which basically becomes more concentrated in milk when extra growth hormones are used. When you drink that milk, you may increase your blood concentration of IGF, which is linked to higher rates of cancer. And our recent studies show growth hormones are harmful to the human health, and they could cause diabetes and different forms of cancer. So, like, the biggest thing too is, I mean, like all the cows, the cows are an increased of udder infections. I mean, and the worst thing is, even worse than the cows, is that we don't even know the long-term effects, man.
Okay, so what do you suggest people should do about this issue?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a pretty simple answer. Just buy organic natural foods from Totally Radical Natural Foods, and everything will be all good.
Well, thank you for sharing.
No problem, man. This was Cowbunga!
Well, that's all, folks.
Channel 20 News signing off.
Let's hit the hay.